A lot of people think that everybody has generally the same sleep pattern. It's the 5 to 8 hour sleep cycle, and you wake up after that and everything's hunky-dory. And honestly, that couldn't be farther from the truth. There are a lot of things out there that can even be rated in the scary category in sleep, during sleep. And I actually want to go through a few of these really scary things that can happen to you while you sleep. And actually, one of these on the list I suffer from, and I would like you guys to guess in the comments down below which one it is. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. The first one I want to talk about is REM sleep behavior disorder. Do you ever see videos about people flailing around looking like they're having a really bad nightmare? Well, that in a nutshell is basically what REM sleep behavior disorder is, but it is an extremely violent version of that. During REM sleep, usually this is when you're dreaming, and people that suffer from this disorder will actually swing and be very violent towards other people in the bed with them, or just family in general, because they're acting out their dreams. And in this video that I'm showing you right here, you can actually see this gentleman is actually tied to his bed because he's scared that he's going to hurt his wife otherwise. And that by itself is really, really scary. Being able to act out very, very horrific parts of your dreams or nightmares can really land you in a very bad situation. The next one I'm going to talk about is something that is really popular right now, which is sleep paralysis. Everybody is paralyzed when they sleep in the REM cycle, so they don't act out their dreams. And that is kind of something where REM sleep behavior disorder comes from, is they actually are able to act out their dreams. Normally you are paralyzed during the REM cycle, so you don't do that. There is something very sinister and dark that can happen with this. People that suffer from sleep paralysis are able to actually be awake, but their body and brain still say that they're in REM, causing them to still be paralyzed for seconds and even up to minutes. It's said to give the sensation of somebody on top of you, holding you down, but of course that is just the sleep paralysis itself, paralyzing your muscles, not making you be able to move, causing that sensation. There are many, many stories out there about people hallucinating during this as well. Increased heart rate, being able to see things on top of them. That is something that can be extremely terrifying if you are not able to move in bed while you are awake and seeing something in the room with you. There are multiple creepypastas and scary stories based around this simply because it is such a good topic for scary stories and events and actual real life happenings. The next one I'm going to talk about is exploding head syndrome. Exploding head syndrome is something that happens to you right on the verge of sleep and or when you're waking up. Right on that verge, you know that feeling right when you're not quite asleep, but everything is alright, you're not worrying about too much, and you're really dozing off quickly. And then all of a sudden you hear a big boom explosion. And a lot of people think that exploding head syndrome is the result of a bundle of nerves in your head or your central nervous system having some sort of malfunction when it's trying to put everything to sleep. And it's causing this sensory overload, and it is making this auditory hallucination of, people explain it from gunshots to trains to screams to all of this crazy, crazy stuff.
Random thoughts will just flow through my head, and you're like a roaring, whooshing sound.
Very loud noise. Sometimes associated with that is, of course, the feeling of fear, which makes sense.
Again, this causes high blood pressure, high heart rate, and can be very, very frightening at times, especially right on the edge of sleep. Next is night terrors. This is more common than a lot of the other ones that I have talked about, but this really happens more in adolescent ages than anything else. Night terrors are when you are in REM sleep and you are very, very deep into your sleep. You end up looking like you're awake and acting like you're awake, very terrified, very scared, screaming and just screaming and trying to protect yourself. Especially if there's family around you, this can be very dangerous because you are acting out these very aggressive defense tactics, trying to save yourself from dying. Can be very, very violent and very, very scary towards the others that you are living with. The funny thing about this one is that when people come out of their night terror, they're fine. They might have a little bit of anxiety, but you don't have the fear you had before. There's a lot of science behind night terrors, and a lot of it is coming up inconclusive, and a lot of it is really unknown. There are multiple cases out there of people becoming so violent that they actually injure family members to the point of them having to go to the hospitals, trying to fend off these demons or beasts that are in their head that are not really there. There's another one that I want to throw in here that's almost disturbing, and it is something that does not affect that many people, and it's called sexsomnia, and it's almost what it sounds like. You technically are sleepwalking, but what happens is you act out sexual desires on others or on objects while you're sleeping. This itself is almost one of the scariest ones that you can probably think of in this list, just based on the fact that it's a really, really hard defense to fight. If you sexually assault somebody or you expose yourself or anything like this happens, it can be a very, very bad thing for you legally. And because this is an actual disorder, it's a sleep disorder, you can actually defend your claim with sexsomnia. But again, it's really, really hard to prove that. And because it affects such a slim number of people on planet Earth, you probably won't be able to get away with it, making this one itself a very, very scary sleep disorder. Well guys, thank you so much for sticking around for this video. This is a new project for me. I'm coming from an old channel and I'm trying something new here. So if you guys like these types of videos, I plan on posting to Dr. Theory multiple times a week. I'm kind of trying to figure out a pattern still with this. This is brand new for me. I hope that you all liked the video. I will see you guys later.